Trump's border shenanigans, cutting deals with cartels while screaming about Walzo. Look at this mess. Here we are in 2025, and Donald Trump is back at it, playing fast and loose with the border like it's his personal playground. You know, the guy who spent years ranting about building walls, keeping out the bad hombres, and making Mexico pay for it all? Yeah, that same dude's administration just rolled out the red carpet for 17 family members of some of the most notorious cartel bosses. And get this, it's all part of a shady deal cooked up with one of El Chapo's sons. If that doesn't scream hypocrisy, I don't know what does. Let's break it down, folks, because this isn't some wild conspiracy theory from the dark corners of the internet. This is straight from the mouth of Mexico's top security guy, Omar Garcia Harfuch. On May 13, 2025, he confirmed in a radio interview that these 17 relatives of cartel leaders waltzed right across the border from Tijuana last week. They had their suitcases in hand, looking all casual, and who was waiting for them? U.S. agents, of course. No drama, no arrests, just a smooth handover like they're VIPs at a Trump resort. The star of this show is Ovidio Guzman Lopez, aka El Raton, or the Mouse. He's the son of Joaquin El Chapo. Guzman, the infamous Sinaloa cartel kingpin who's rotting away in a U.S. supermax prison. Ovidio got extradited to the States back in 2023 on a laundry list of drug trafficking charges. Now, instead of facing a full-blown trial that could bury him for life, he's been chatting it up with the U.S. Department of Justice. Harfuch straight up said it looks like the family's entry is tied to some negotiation or offer from the DOJ. In other words, Ovidio's spilling the beans on other crooks to save his own skin, and in return, his family gets a free pass into America. Harfuch didn't mince words. He told reporters, "It is evident that his family is going to the U.S. because of a negotiation or an offer that the Department of Justice is giving him." And guess what? Mexico's authorities aren't even after these family members. No warrants, no chases. But Harfuch is pissed that the Trump folks haven't shared any intel with Mexican prosecutors yet. It's like the U.S. is playing keep away with crucial info while letting these cartel kin settle in. This whole thing ties back to Trump's big talk on cartels. Remember how he labeled the Sinaloa cartel and others as foreign terrorist organizations? Yeah, that was his admin's move to crank up the pressure. And right around the time this family crossover happened, U.S. Attorney Adam Gordon for the Southern District of California dropped charges on top cartel leaders for narcoterrorism. He even threw out a tough guy line. "Let me be direct to the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel. You are no longer the hunters, you are the hunted. You will be betrayed by your friends, you will be hounded by your enemies, and you will ultimately find yourself and your face here in a courtroom in the Southern District of California." Sounds badass, right? But then why the hell are we welcoming their families with open arms? It's not like this is the first time Trump's crew has bent the rules for shady deals. Flash back to January 6, 2021, that dark day when a mob of his die-hard fans stormed the Capitol, trying to overturn a fair election. Trump and his inner circle didn't just hype up the rally, they funded the chaos. His campaign shelled out big bucks for command centers at fancy D.C. hotels like the Willard. We're talking rooms booked for strategizing the whole "stop the steal" nonsense. And yeah, allies and organizations tied to Trump covered travel, hotels, motels, and even food for folks who ended up rioting. It's the same playbook. Bring in people, pay their way, and let them wreak havoc. The same way he brought people to America, paid motels and hotels and food for them to attack the Capitol. Mexican security chief confirms cartel family members entered U.S. in a deal with Trump administration. Mexico City, app. Mexico's security chief confirmed Tuesday that 17 family members of cartel leaders crossed into the U.S. last week as part of a deal between a son of the former head of the Sinaloa cartel and the Trump administration. Mexican Security Secretary Omar Garcia Harfuch confirmed a report by independent journalist Luis Chaparro that family members of Ovidio Guzman Lopez, who was extradited to the United States in 2023, had entered the U.S. Fast forward to now, and Trump's still got a soft spot for those Jan. 6 goons. In March 2025, he floated the idea of compensating the rioters. Yeah, the ones who smashed windows, beat cops, and caused $1.5 million in damage to the Capitol. He called himself a big fan of Ashley Babbitt, the woman shot during the attack, and talked about a compensation fund for those wrongly punished. Pardons galore, commutations for proud boys and oath keepers. It's like he's running a loyalty program for insurrectionists. Over 140 cops got hurt that day, and the FBI calls it domestic terrorism, but Trump wants to pay them off. Give me a break. Meanwhile, on the cartel front, updates as of September 2025 show this deal's still rippling. Ovidio's court appearance got pushed to July, and rumors swirl he's ratting out rivals to cut his sentence. His brother, Ismail El Mayo Zambada, got nabbed in a wild twist, kidnapped by another cartel faction and handed over to U.S. authorities. But the family entry? No reversals. They're in, settling down, probably in some witness protection setup courtesy of Uncle Sam. Critics like Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted Trump over this. Schumer said it was like rolling out the red carpet for El Chapo's kin, while Trump screams about border security. And he's right. How do you square this with the MAGA crowd's obsession over immigrants? These aren't dreamers or hardworking folks fleeing violence. These are direct relatives of guys flooding the U.S. with fentanyl and meth. Yet Trump's admin greenlights them because it suits their narcoterrorism agenda. Let's get real blunt here. This stinks of selective enforcement. Trump riles up his base with fear-mongering about caravans and poisoning the blood of America. But when it benefits his tough-on-crime image, he flips the script. It's the ultimate con, promise a wall, deliver deals with drug lords. And don't get me started on the human cost. The Sinaloa cartel has blood on its hands. Thousands dead in Mexico, overdose epidemics here. By cozying up to Ovidio, are we just empowering the next generation? Think about the optics. Video footage shows these family members casually crossing at San Isidro. No cuffs, no questions, just agents escorting them like escorts at a gala. Meanwhile, asylum seekers wait in squalor for months. Priorities, right? Harfuch called for transparency, but crickets from the Trump side. No press releases, no explanations, just business as usual in Trumpland. This isn't isolated. Trump's history is littered with these flip-flops. He pardoned cronies like Roger Stone and Paul Manafort, who were neck-deep in scandals. Now, extending olive branches to cartel families. It's consistent if you're looking for patterns of favoritism toward the powerful or useful. Ovidio's info could take down rivals, strengthening U.S. leverage against cartels. But at what price? Trust in the system erodes when deals like this go down in the shadows, and tying back to Jan. 6. It's eerily similar. Trump rallied his troops with lies about election fraud, funded the setup, and now wants to reward the attackers. Evidence from the election interference case shows organizations paid for buses, hotels, and more to get people to D.C. The Willard Hotel was ground zero for plotting, with rooms comped by Trump allies. Then the mob attacks, officers get brutalized, and Trump watches from afar. Fast forward, and he's pardoning them, talking compensation. Same energy as letting cartel families in. Facilitate the bad guys when it suits you. What's the end game? For Trump, it's all about power plays. Designate cartels as terrorists to justify military threats against Mexico, then cut deals behind closed doors. Yell about borders while quietly opening them for select few. It's a masterclass in doublespeak that his MAGA fans eat up, blind to the contradictions. But we're not buying it. This deal exposes the rot at the core of Trump's border policy. It's never been about security. It's about spectacle and self-interest. If you're anti-MAGA like me, this is just more fuel to call out the BS. No walls for cartel VIPs, but barriers for everyone else. Spare me. In the months since May, no major backlash has reversed this. Ovidio's plea deal is reportedly in the works, potentially weakening the cartel, but also highlighting how the U.S. plays favorites. Mexico's pushing for more cooperation, but Trump's admin drags its feet. As of September 2025, those family members are likely stateside, living under protection while the rest of us deal with the fallout from cartel violence. This story matters because it peels back the curtain on how power really works. Trump's not the savior he claims, he's the dealmaker who bends rules for wins, whether it's Jan. 6 rioters or cartel kin, if you're useful, you're in. Everyone else, build that wall. So next time Trump tweets about invaders, remember this. His admin invited 17 cartel relatives for a staycation. Hypocrisy level. Expert. I do not come back to debate against what I just wrote, because I do not need permission to have my opinion from MAGA, Trump's cartel welcome wagon. Sneaking in the bad guys to play dirty for ICE, oh man, here we go again with Trump's border circus. The guy who built his whole empire on screaming about walls and invaders is now quietly ushering in cartel royalty like they're on a VIP list. Yeah, you heard that right. 17 family members of some of the deadliest drug lords just strolled across the border, suitcases in hand, straight into the arms of U.S. agents. And get this, it's all tied to a backroom deal with one of El Chapo's kids. If that doesn't make your blood boil, I don't know what will. We're talking hypocrisy on steroids, folks. Let's lay it out plain and simple. Back in May 2025, Mexico's Security Secretary, Omar Garcia Harfuch, dropped the bomb in a radio interview. He confirmed that these 17 relatives, including El Chapo's ex-wife Griselda Lopez Perez and her daughter, crossed from Tijuana last week. No drama, no cuffs, just a casual walk to waiting U.S. agents who scooped them up like lost luggage. Harfuch didn't sugarcoat it. This whole thing reeks of a negotiation between Ovidio Guzman Lopez, aka the Mouse, and the Trump administration's Department of Justice. Ovidio, extradited to the U.S. in 2023 on a pile of drug trafficking charges, is apparently singing like a canary to cut a deal. In return, his family gets a free ticket to America. Now, are you questioning what I am questioning? He is sneaking cartel from Mexico to America, so are they doing the dirty attacks and work for ICE? Why is this allowed? He is putting us in great danger. If they work for ICE. See, that's the million-dollar question burning a hole in my brain. Trump's admin is all about designating cartels like Sinaloa as terrorist groups, right? U.S. Attorney Adam Gordon even popped off with that tough talk. To the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel, you are no longer the hunters, you are the hunted. Sounds great on paper, but then why roll out the welcome mat for their kin? Are these folks just chilling in witness protection? Or is there something shadier going on, like turning them into assets for ICE to do the grunt work Trump won't admit to dig a little deeper, and the red flags pop up everywhere? ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, has a history of cozying up with informants from these very cartels. Back in 2023, their Homeland Security Investigations arm was right there when Ovidio got arraigned in Chicago. Fast forward to this deal, and U.S. agents are the ones greeting the family at the border. Who do you think handles that? Border Patrol and ICE, that's who. They're the enforcers making sure these negotiations go smooth. But here's the kicker. Informants don't always play nice. We've seen cases where cartel snitches go rogue, or worse, bring the violence stateside. Take a look at the dangers we're inviting. Cartels like Sinaloa aren't messing around. They've hacked FBI systems to track and kill potential informants. In June 2025, reports came out about how they used hackers to spy on FBI officials via Mexico City's cameras, leading to hits on snitches. And that's just the tip. ICE agents have been ambushed by cartels before, like in 2020 when they got hit during a mission and barely got support. Now, by bringing in 17 family members, are we painting a target on our backs? These aren't random folks. They're connected to guys who have flooded the U.S. with fentanyl, meth, and enough coke to bury a city. The Chapitos, Ovidio and his brothers, are accused of torturing rivals with corkscrews, electrocution, and even feeding them to tigers. If their families are here as leverage or assets, what's stopping the cartel from sending hit squads north to settle scores? And don't get me started on the lack of transparency. Harfuch straight up called out the Trump admin for not sharing a damn thing with Mexican prosecutors. Mexico's got no warrants on these relatives, sure, but the US is playing keep away with info that could help both sides. Meanwhile, down in Sinaloa State, cartel infighting has killed over 1,200 people and left 1,400 missing since the arrests started ramping up. That violence doesn't stop at the border. If anything, deals like this could spark retaliation right here in the States. Think about it. Trump's always yapping about how immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, but when it suits his tough-on-crime image, he flips the switch. This isn't about justice. It's about cherry-picking who gets a pass. Ovidio's court date got pushed to July 2025, where he pleaded guilty to drug conspiracy and running a criminal enterprise. Part of that plea, probably ratting out rivals to lighten his sentence. And his family, they're likely tucked away in some DOJ-funded safe house, courtesy of taxpayer dollars. But if they're whispering secrets to ICE, helping with busts, or whatever dirty work that entails, who's to say they won't turn around and bite the hand feeding them? We've seen this movie before with informants gone bad. Back in 2011, there was this case with a guy named Ramirez Pero, an ICE informant embedded in a cartel. His handlers warned him his life was in danger, but the risks spilled over. Or take the 2009 mess where U.S. informants were accused of killings while on the payroll. These aren't fairy tales. They're real headlines showing how relying on cartel turncoats can blow up in our faces. Trump's admin is gambling with our safety by importing these connections. What if one of these family members slips back into old habits? Or worse, what if the cartel decides to launch ops on U.S. soil to silence them? Critics are already piling on. Senate Democrats like Chuck Schumer blasted it as rolling out the red carpet for El Chapo's kin while Trump rants about border security. And they're spot on. This deal exposes the giant loophole in Trump's wall obsession. It's not about keeping everyone out. It's about letting in who he wants when he wants. Meanwhile, actual asylum seekers rot in camps, but cartel VIPs get express entry? Give me a break. As of September 2025, nothing's changed. Ovidio's deal is sealed. His family's stateside and Trump's admin keeps mum. No press conferences, no explanations, just more bluster about cartels being terrorists while cutting deals in the shadows. It's bold, it's reckless, and it's putting everyday Americans at risk. He is putting us in great danger, plain and simple. This isn't just a one-off, it's Trump's pattern. Remember how he hyped up Jan? 6 rioters funding their hotels and buses to storm the Capitol? Same vibe here, facilitate the chaos makers when it benefits you, but we're not falling for it. Time to call this what it is. A dangerous game that's got cartel fingerprints all over our border policy. I do not come back to debate against what I just wrote, because I do not need permission to have my opinion from MAGA. Copyright 2025 Independent Writer Crowning Thoughts Truth Speaker. AI video content creator, writer, blogger, Santiago, DC. Maria. All rights reserved.